Welcome, everyone, to episode 55 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, the Dikembe Mutombo episode. No, we're not going anywhere. We are going to talk about women's wrestling. We're going to talk about John Cena, and we're going to talk about the movement of WrestleMania. But let's start off with John Cena. His heel turn has been, I don't know what your point is on it. I think it's been a little underwhelming. I think that it's not what people expected when everyone envisioned Cena turning heel. I thought that you'd always see online, oh, Cena turning heel will feed families. I don't think that it's feeding any families. I think that there's a lot of starving children out there. But what do you think has gone wrong, if you think something has gone wrong with Cena's heel turn?
Just the whole way it started from the very beginning, and to me it didn't make sense the way they started it. He won the match, and he had the spot. Now I liked where they were going with it when they were planting the seeds. He didn't win the Rumble. He put himself, he used his icon status to put himself in the Elimination Chamber match, and I was like, oh, it's coming. He's going to fall short, and then the heel turn's going to happen, and it's going to be fantastic. But then he won. And then he joined The Rock, which didn't make sense in that context. Now, had he fell short at the Chamber and, say, CM Punk won, or I think they could have accomplished the same thing if they've done like they've done in Elimination Chambers past, have Cody defend the title in Elimination Chamber. It come down to him and Cena, and he beats Cena. And then The Rock still comes out with the offer to Cody, and when Cody shuts him down, then Cena turns on him, and from that standpoint, it makes sense because Cena would have to align himself with The Rock to get that title shot at Mania because of The Rock's standing in the company. That to me would have made a lot of sense. You can still, I was thinking even if they would have had Punk win and have a triple threat with Punk, Cody, and Cena, but seeing how well done the triple threat was on night one, I think you leave that alone.
Yeah.
But again, I think the easiest fix would have been Cody being in the chamber, Cody winning, Cena falling short again, and then at that point, aligning himself with The Rock to get the title shot at Mania. And then Rock's got to show up at Mania. And I think if they had that to do again, regardless of the reasoning of the focus not wanting to be on The Rock, I think they absolutely, seeing the negative reaction, would do that over again.
And that's what I was going to say. I blame The Rock as much as I blame John Cena for this heel run of his. You don't, or I guess maybe TKO and Triple H I blame for inserting The Rock and putting him in a position where it seems like he's going to play a role in this heel turn, and then he plays no role in the heel turn. So then you have people having expectations of seeing The Rock and seeing him involved. Mm-hmm. And then when he's not involved, they get disappointed. And then it forces John Cena to have to deal with crowds that are wanting to see Dwayne, and he doesn't show up. And we're used to Dwayne not showing up. That's fine. I mean, there was years on end where you would predict that Dwayne was going to be there and he wasn't there. But we live with that. But then when you tease him, when you dangle him out there.
And this wasn't the only time they've done that either in the past year.
Right. And I don't know whose idea it is to keep dangling them and then just pulling them back, but it's just not a good idea. Now, could this still be salvaged? I mean, I don't think that people care that it's for being honest, I think that Cena's at the point where I don't think anyone actually cares that it's not a good heel run. They just are along for the ride. I mean, they might complain that, oh, this heel run sucks, but I think they would rather have it than not have it. But
one thing I will say, me and you both pay attention to Bleacher Report, and I know the live reaction after the backlash PLE with him and Orton. Oh, they destroyed it. At least the ones who were watching it live. Now it got a fairly good rating in the grades of the thing, but I did not like that R-Truth was that big of a factor at the end of that match, and a lot of the shenanigans at the end I think were a little too much even for my liking. But the match I thought was great. I loved it. I personally really enjoyed that match between those two. I truly, truly did. And then, then that said, it did get a little out of hand at the end. And
Never.
but yeah, I thought up until that point, I really enjoyed it. I did.
So let's talk about R-Truth for a second. The thing that we have to understand and why people think that they might be getting upset is this is John Cena's retirement tour, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
Which means that he's just trying to knock people off of his list of people he wants to wrestle. And there is a huge storyline between him and R-Truth. And I think that John Cena respects R-Truth and what R-Truth has done for the business. And I understand that R-Truth has gone a long time being a comedy act, and that's cool. That's fine. The fans love him. They love the whole John Cena's his hero thing. So him having a match and him inserting himself in this whole scenario, it just makes perfect sense for what it is. And
no, I have no issues with them having a match. I don't. I just feel like, and again, things that can be accomplished with just a little bit of a tweak. I think you have less of the shenanigans at the end, the Randy Orton Cena match. Still have Cena cheat. If they want to go that way, so be it. And then same thing at the press conference, have R-Truth crash it. And then it accomplishes the exact same thing. And nobody has any issue. Well, okay. Yes, people will still have issues with it, but it accomplishes the same thing and still sets up the match Saturday night's main event. I just think that was my gripe. I don't think, because yes, all that backstory is there with his hero and some of the other stuff they've done, and the 6-man tag they had a while back on Raw, I think it was, with him, Miz, and Truth and all that. You can easily accomplish the same thing without having him being one of the deciding factors in that match. I personally fifth.
Oh, maybe. Well, the thing that you need to get ready for is they're going to keep going down the list of hits. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more match for a Curtis Angle coming up at some point in time.
Stop it.
Yep.
Stop.
You're going to hear that music hit.
No, it's not.
It is going to hit. You're going to see that. You're going to see John Cena versus... Who else are we going to see? Do they give him one more Roman Reigns?
That I don't think is going to happen.
Going to go Brock Lesnar?
I don't know.
I think Brock's done, unfortunately.
Now, but in all seriousness, I am wondering, because this storyline with Punk and versus Rollins' new faction, that isn't going anywhere anytime soon, which leaves a limited amount of time to circle back to Cena versus Punk. And I have to see that one more time. And I'm just want yes, but that made me want more. I want one more full match with those two. But again, with this thing with Rollins and all that, that's going to be a slow burn, and it's going to be even slower or a longer burn the more people in the faction that Punk is going to have to overcome to finally topple Rollins and then Heyman or whatever. But, and I'll be honest with you, I am not convinced. I'm not convinced Cena's not doing another WrestleMania.
I think he's done. He's not doing another WrestleMania.
We'll see.
He's a principled man. If he's quitting because his body is breaking down and he doesn't think that he can have the quality of match, he's the kind of guy who would stay with that retirement.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's to do the job for somebody on the way out, and that's the best way to do it,
I think he would do on the way out at Survivor Series.
I need to look at the schedule too and see that. But seriously, we're running out of appearances for him, and I just really did not expect this thing with Punk and Rollins and all that to still be going on, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. So
they're going to give him Sami Zayn. I think soon. John Cena.
Think so?
I do. I remember Sami Zayn, his first match was against John Cena where he dislocated his shoulder.
In the open challenge, yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. Great match.
Yeah. I could see
Great
that.
match.
I could see, and Cena versus Braun Breaker.
No, because
that gets him in that gets him against that faction, and then can circle
that'd be
back.
heel versus heel, though. He's not doing that.
You think he's gonna be heel until November, December?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I think his last match has to be him as a babyface, because if we know it's his last match, no one's gonna view him as a heel. I think he's got to go back at some point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And how do you think they should have done his heel turn? I said what I would have done.
Well, all of the clues were there, and you talked about them leading up to him turning heel with the way that he was handling himself and essentially trying to bypass all avenues. I just don't know why. I agree with you. I don't know why he said a lot of that stuff to just win. He didn't need a win. It doesn't make sense. I'm in the mindset that he couldn't turn heel and it be successful at this point in his career. He maybe could have done it 10 years ago, but the fans started to appreciate him too much. And when you get that type of appreciation, especially when you know that the person is retiring, that makes it very difficult for them to be viewed as an actual heel, because they're just there to witness his last hurrah. They're not there to boo him. They're there to pay homage to him as he's on his way out. So I'm in the mindset that he can't do anything to turn heel. You know, they could have him a singles match against Nikki Bella, and he's going to get cheered. He's going to get cheered, and they're in a very difficult position to try to book this. But I still don't think it matters whether or not it is a good heel run or not. I just don't think anyone cares. In 5 years, no one's going to say, "Oh, you remember that heel run from Cena? It sucked." No one's going to say that. I don't know. It hasn't been all bad. We got a decent promo from you don't get to see R-Truth serious very often, and he gave an impassioned promo leading up to Saturday Night Main Events.
Oh yeah, and I like a lot of the stuff that Cena's been doing on the mic too. Not all of it, but I like most of it. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on this. I like the new entry, the black with the white John Cena. Just playing and him just walking and holding the towel and just sauntering to the ring. I like that. I just the little tweaks like that. I think it's great. People are like, "Oh, I can't believe they gave Cena that entrance for his last WrestleMania." Who cares? I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
because it was unexpected, and I like that.
Yeah. The way I book it, though, is keep him saying all the stuff that he says. I don't think that he gets inserted into the WrestleMania until a couple weeks after that. He stays babyface after he loses to whoever he lost to. Then R-Truth comes out. I think they should have used R-Truth to help him turn heel.
And could have worked.
They needed to put babyface versus babyface. Everybody would like to see that match of John Cena versus R-Truth. And then he beats R-Truth, but he uses underhanded tactics to do it. So let's say he hits him with a chair, gets disqualified, or he loses, gets disqualified. And then he keeps beating R-Truth, doesn't stop. He gets his angry facials going, so it's clear that he's turning heel. And you just see him snap. You just see him snap against R-Truth. And then he goes back and he does the complete heel turn during the press conference of Saturday Night Main Event or Backlash or whatever. I don't know when I would want to do this. Maybe, I guess pre-WrestleMania, doesn't really matter. Goes back on the mic, cuts an impassioned promo about he even cut the same promo for the same stuff that he was talking about before about the fans and things like that. But I think they should have used someone who's going to be there as his vessel to become a heel, not a part-timer who is just never there. So I would have used R-Truth as the vessel to turn heel. And
I like that.
it's not the flashiest, it's not The Rock, but I think it makes sense. I think it makes
it makes
more sense than what they did.
Yes.
And it's a little silly, but the fans would get behind it. And since the fans love R-Truth so much, I just think that that could have been the catalyst to allow him to turn heel. So that's what I would have done. I think it would have been more fun that way. But it is what it is. I really don't care.
I could have even drug it out a little bit more. Have him win the briefcase and go against old John Cena, announcing beforehand he's cashing it in, and just deck somebody with the case and win the title that way.
Yeah, could have done that.
But
what are you going to do?
I know they have limited. They had to do it as early as they could because of the But since we brought up the briefcase, I think it is very interesting. Both men's champions are going to be in the same match at the same time at Money in the Bank. And I'll be interested to see where that match is on the card, because right now you got to think Rollins is the favorite to win the briefcase. And the only thing I'm wondering, though, is I'm thinking we're still going to get the Gunther rematch, and that is the Monday after Money in the Bank. The Monday after Money in the Bank in Phoenix, I believe. It's after. So I'm thinking there probably won't be a cash-in, because I don't see Rollins doing it to Cena.
Yeah.
It would make more sense in the context of the story to do it to Jay. But so yeah, but depending on where that is on the card, because if that's the main event, then there's definitely going to be a tease of a cash-in at the very least.
With how quickly Drew lost the briefcase last year, I mean, they could also have a year where they have it held for a long period of time. You can get a lot of juice from that squeeze by having them hold on to the title. A lot of storylines that can be had en route to winning said title or facing the champion for said title.
I think there's a lot more uncertainty this year in who's going to win it.
Yeah.
Because it seems obvious it would be
Wasn't
Rollins.
There uncertainty last year? Didn't you have Carmelo Hayes winning it last year?
Yes, I did. Okay, let me rephrase that. I think in both of them there's more uncertainty, because I thought it was 100% for sure that Tiffy was going to win. I thought it would have been inexcusable for anybody else to have won last year. But now this year with the women's, that's a toss up.
Mariah May.
What?
That one blonde chick from AEW whose contract is up. She's a smoke show, and she's a hot free agent right now. And
she is a free agent?
Yes, and there's speculation that she's already signed with WWE, and that's one of the main reasons why Vakir and Jordan Grace are moving to the main roster, so they can have their next influx of talent to compete in NXT. Just a rumor.
Well, I heard part of the reason was possibly because they want that talent on the main roster for the Evolution show in Atlanta.
Why do you need them on the main roster for the Evolution show?
I don't know. I'm just telling you something I read. That was
the first Evolution had NXT talent on it.
That I don't recall.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but
they have enough women they don't do anything with than to add more to that pay-per-view. But it is what it is. I'm happy to see Stephanie Valkyrie in the main roster, since I don't really watch as much NXT. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I just don't
want them using her like they did Lyra.
I just don't want that is not going to happen. They found out very quickly that she is a superstar, and there's no denying that. No, that's not gonna. They're not gonna misuse her.
Okay.
But for those who don't know, Vakir lost her title via underhanded tactics by Fatal Influence, and JC Jane is your new NXT Women's Champion. And
who?
But if they were going to do that, I was telling Josh before this, they should have let Jada Parker win the Fatal 4-Way at Stand and Deliver. If they knew that if Julia Stephanie Valkyrie, and Jordan Grace, if they knew they were all going to be called up a short time later, give it to Jada Parker. I just don't understand.
Knew.
But how?
Because she's taken off since that match. Not to say that she wasn't popular at the match, because she absolutely was, but I think that match helped a lot with her take the next step.
Yeah.
Also, they're not very bright. That's how they would not know. I'm not very bright.
Not when it comes to certain things, apparently. My goodness.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's her ceiling on the main roster?
Who?
Stephanie Valkyrie.
Oh, she's going to be a champion. She'll probably have a significant reign, too.
Think so?
Yes, she is that good.
She is good.
And she's got multiple finishing moves, which is always a big plus. Okay. So in Tuesday night's main event, she did the Devil's Kiss, and Booker was way offbeat when he was doing this ha ha, and he got called out, and they said you're more offbeat than Michael Cole trying to yeet. It was good. But yes, I think she's going to be champion for a while, and they've got some there's some matchups I'm looking forward to there. So yeah, so it looks like Valkyrie's going to come up. Probably Jordan Grace is going to be coming up. Julia's already there. If Mariah May's coming in, that'll be interesting to see if she does go to NXT or if they bring her straight to the main roster.
She's got such a good look. I don't know.
I don't know. So does Stephanie Valkyrie, and she started at NXT.
Yeah, but if the
so does
dirt
Julia.
sheets, but if the dirt sheets are true, that was a choice they made. They made the choice. So I mean, I get it, but
I thought the dirt sheet said Valkyrie wanted to start there and requested to.
I thought it was both of them. If you're telling me it was just one, I'm not going to argue because I don't.
No, I very well could be wrong. I thought I could be getting it mixed up with one of them though. But what are your thoughts on Trick winning the TNA title at an NXT show?
Don't like it.
I felt the same way.
I don't like that. I don't like the way they've treated TNA. I feel like they're just taking advantage of them. And I don't watch TNA, and I'm not going to watch TNA. I'm just not.
I just don't have time.
Right. I barely have enough time to watch what I watch.
Yeah.
But I respect TNA. I respect their business model. I respect what they've done. I don't think they should be treated this way. It's like, I understand they have free will. They don't have to do it. But it's WWE. If they're telling you to do something and they're bringing so many eyeballs to their TV. I don't know how many eyeballs they brought on Joe Henry because he was popular before him, but I can assure you it's a lot. And they understand that. They understand it's going to make them more money, but at what cost? At what cost?
We'll see.
There's no we'll see.
Well, no, because inevitably now the title, either the women's main title in NXT or the men's is going to change hands on a TNA show now. You know it's going to happen.
When? It's probably going to be like the TNA Tuesday title or something stupid. They're going to give them a fake title to take off their hands just to say they gave them something.
Nah, I think it'll be reciprocated. Or who knows? Maybe that was some part of an agreement. Like, hey, we'll give Joe Hendry and your company the exposure of going against Randy Orton at WrestleMania in exchange for this.
Yeah, exchange for your title. Exchange for the most important thing in your company.
Yeah, but there's got to be some other end game too. It'll be. I think it's going to be okay. I didn't really care for it either, but I think it's going to be okay.
Whoever Trick beat, I think it was. I can't think of his name. No, I'm sorry. Whoever. What was my thought? I've forgotten my thought. Ignore me. Let me go ahead and clip that so I can delete that part of things. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. In mid-sentence, I started to fall asleep and then forgot what I was going to say. All right. Moving right along. Yeah, Trick can't have a long title reign.
No.
Whatever happens, he can't have a long reign. He needs to lose the title pretty quickly so he can come up and job in the main roster, which I don't know. I don't know what else he's getting out of NXT.
I am surprised I thought by now they would have already circled back to him versus Oba. And the fact that they are dancing around that makes me wonder what's going on there. But who knows? All right, what else were we going to talk about? We covered Cena, talked about Mariah May.
Women's wrestling.
Some of the women get called up. I feel like there was something else. Oh,
WrestleMania moving.
yes.
Okay, let me give a segue to that. So that's going to take us into talking about WrestleMania 43. Which one is this?
42.
42?
42, yeah.
We just had 41? Okay. WrestleMania 42. For those that don't know, WrestleMania 42 was supposed to be inside New Orleans, but
New Orleans, for those who...
They threw a curveball. On us, and they've said that, we made too much money at WrestleMania 41. We are going to try to replicate that, and we are going to put it back here in Las Vegas.
Have they officially announced that?
No, but it will be.
The only reason I'm unsure, did you see the new date or the date for Money in the Bank next year?
No.
It's the anniversary. It's the Katrina anniversary, August the 29th in New Orleans. That is very late for Money in the Bank. Very late.
Yeah, it's bumping right into SummerSlam.
Yeah. Isn't SummerSlam always in August?
Yeah.
So are they going to have SummerSlam and Money in the Bank in the same month?
I don't know what they're going to do.
And so I
think SummerSlam is 2 days, right? Or is that next year?
Yeah. Yeah, well, this year it starts 2 days, and I don't see them scaling that back once they start that.
No.
I had a thought before they started bringing up like what it did for the local economy and how tourism in Vegas has been down and probably getting pressure to try to bring it back. I was thinking with how late Money in the Bank is going to be next year, that maybe next year's the year they finally do a Mania in Europe. And then they segue that straight into the European tour. They just do it earlier. And then the reason for the late Money in the Bank would be because of the change of the European tour. But because that's the thing that threw me the most was how late Money in the Bank was going to be.
Yeah.
But again, I thought that before I saw the stuff about, Vegas and dip in tourism over the past few years and the big boost that it did. But then again, too, apparently there's some events that they held at some of these venues that already are booked at the times they're talking about doing it next year. But yeah, like I said, initially when I saw that, I was like, man, maybe they're going to finally have one in Europe.
Yeah.
And just go straight into the annual European tour. But
maybe. I think it's all just a money thing. I just think they saw what their bottom line was after WrestleMania and said, how can we replicate this? Oh yeah, let's put WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas again. So I don't know. It's an interesting choice to do this, to just take away WrestleMania from a city, but I don't think it's unprecedented. I think I read somewhere that it's happened 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
And I think they said they're going to have a future. New Orleans will always be an option for them. They know that.
Yeah. Wasn't New Orleans the stadium that Hulk Hogan got wrong? What do you say? The Silver Dome?
Yeah, I think he called it the Silver Dome.
I had to come back later and say, the Super Dome. What a joke that Hogan is.
But yeah, I think they're going to get a future Mania. They've got Money in the Bank there. And yeah, so we shall see what happens. And
I'm going to give you some recommended watching. Go ahead and watch Stephanie McMahon interview those people. She seems genuinely interested in them. And she's a good interviewer. You can just tell she loves wrestling when you hear her talk. And she does a good job. Always like to hear from people like Stone Cold and Rhea Ripley. So I recommend you go ahead and watch that on ESPN Plus.
Is that Stephanie's Places? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Peyton Manning had Places too. where he would go from stadium to stadium or place to place. So it's a copycat of that. I think that Stephanie just did John Cena and some other people, but
Yeah.
About 4 episodes in. I'll watch the rest here as time goes on, but good watch. I recommend that you just give a little gander. Give a little gander. I had to stop watching LFG, not because
It's over.
I know. I'm just saying I didn't finish it. I know who won, but I didn't finish watching the episodes.
Why?
I watched because I just ran they're just too long. I watched the first 5. I'm done with them.
I was like, oh, what happened? I was like, I haven't heard about this yet.
No. Who's a guy named Troy? I guess was the winner, and he fought Dante Chen, your boy. I didn't realize Dante Chen was still a thing.
Well, they apparently, I read in the grades, because I haven't seen the whole episode of NXT yet. I just watched the last match in the Ricky Saints all ego match. But apparently, Corey Graves buried Chen on commentary. And
Did
yeah, he made some comment, and they noted in the grades how Corey Graves didn't do Dante Chen any favors. So let's see. Impacts he did. Here we go. Corey Graves didn't do Chen any favors on commentary by saying he doesn't have what it takes to make it.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. So
Well, I think that's going to wrap up.
Somebody's getting sleepy.
Somebody is getting sleepy. Long day in the baseball field. My oldest son got a win today. Their team has not been the best. So for them to get a win, it's a lot. So
Awesome. Very
but
nice.
winning is tiring for their coach, who is I. So that's going to wrap up episode 55 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next episode of the Sleepy Time podcast. Oh, Golden Squeeze podcast. Oh, yeah.
Keep an eye out. Money in the Bank predictions coming next week.